Okay, so this is my first attempt to try and record my own video. I'm feeling very inspired to have some conversations about discussing sex with my boys. I used to think that telling them about where meat comes from would be the hardest thing I would ever have to do. That was just a terrifying conversation, and I knew that when it was time for sex, we would just discuss the birds and the bees, and it would be really scientific and anatomical, and we could use a book to talk about the reproductive aspects of sex. And only recently has it occurred to me that that's not the best way to go with our children. There's so much sex everywhere we go. What we hear on the radio, what we see on the TV, on the billboards, sex is everywhere, and yet we don't talk about it. And it's such a difficult contrast, and it just creates like an inner conflict. It's everywhere, but then when it's time to find out about it, we're told to be safe and do it to make babies when you are married. And I feel that just leads our children to a place of not being able to trust themselves or even trust us when it comes to exploration and honesty and intimacy and sexual identity and really having a nice experience with it. Fortunately, I have sons, so I don't have to share with that maybe it doesn't always feel good, or it's not always what you want it to be. That would be a harder conversation, but I do have boys who have constant erections that they are utterly in love with, and I know the time is drawing near, and everything I'm reading and hearing says you start the conversations before they ask. And you keep the conversations going so that children know that we are their allies, and sex is more than something to be careful about. Have safe sex, don't get pregnant, don't get a disease, do it when you're married, do it to make a baby. There are just so many reasons people have sex, and usually it's not to have a baby, and a lot of times it has nothing to do with love, and there's nothing wrong with having feelings in your body that make you want to touch and be touched. And I just feel like there's a lot of conversation that we need to have with our children so they can be good sexual citizens. I guess this is just the beginning of a conversation I want to have, and I want to have it with other willing adults before I have it with my children. I need to do a lot of research, and I need to engage in some conversations. Just silent and squeamish is sort of the way sex was shared or not shared with me, and I need to learn things that I don't know so that I can teach them to my children and say them in ways that are age appropriate. So if you have anything to share, I hope that you will contact me. You may email me at wba@wholesomebadass.com. This is a conversation. Spread the word. Let's be honest with our children so that they can learn to explore and identify and enjoy healthy and respectful relations whenever their bodies are calling for them to do so. Thank you for being here.